Welcome aboard. Skylark Outdoors here, and today we're going to go over what engine oil should you use for your MerCruiser engine. So this advice is going to hold for 4-cylinder MerCruiser engines, 6-cylinder MerCruiser engines, and 8-cylinder MerCruiser engines. Now typically you're going to find the engine oil weight on the top of your actual engine oil fill cap. So you're going to have it right there. It'll typically say something like 25W40. Your engine may be different. However, in a lot of older boats or some newer boats, that engine oil cap may have been replaced or you don't have that oil weight. So what engine oil weight should you use for your MerCruiser engine? I run 25W40 in this MerCruiser engine, which is a 3.0 liter 4-cylinder engine. However, I also run the same weight oil in the MerCruiser 5.0 liter 8-cylinder engine. And the reason I do that, and the reason that I use this particular weight oil, is it's a 25W40, which is rated to conditions down to 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. And there's not really any instances where I'm going to be boating under 32 degrees, and a 25W40 is going to serve all those applications above 32 degrees Fahrenheit and or 0 degrees Celsius. And why I like to run a 25W40 is that it's a little bit thicker weight than an alternative like a 10W30, which you may see in cars or you may even see in some boat engines, is that this will still have a higher viscosity rating at higher temperatures. So with oil viscosity, what happens is that as the oil heats up, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And the reason, like when you have a car, you want to have maybe, let's say in a lot of newer cars, it's a 5W25 or a 0W25, is because those can be starting in engine conditions where it's below 0 degrees. You might be starting your car up and it's 10 degrees below Fahrenheit. You might be starting at 0 degrees below Fahrenheit. You may be wherever you are in the country, someplace where you get a lot of cold weather, and they need an oil weight that can handle those conditions. With a boat, I'm not going to be boating in 32 degrees or under. So in my opinion, having a heavier weight oil will provide me more protection as the oil heats up, because it will get less thin as the oil heats up. Whereas with the lower viscosity rating, like a 10W30, that oil gets thinner and thinner as it heats up. And what they have a name for it is kind of like oil shear, is how quickly it will kind of like slide off the cylinder walls or lubrication points. And with a heavier weight oil like a 15W40, you don't need to worry about having really thin oil in cold starts, because you're not going to be starting in cold conditions. But when you really heat up and you're running this engine for 4 or 8 or 10 hours a day, you have a heavier weight oil that's going to stay on those cylinder walls and lubricate potentially better at higher temperatures than a thinner weight oil. So that's why I use a 25W40 for the 4-cylinder Mercury engines, the 6-cylinder Mercury engines, and the 8-cylinder MerCruiser engines as well. And if you think about it, really the 4-cylinder is just, when they go to the V8, it's 2 4-cylinders pretty much cast together. So it's very similar, and that's why this same logic applies to using this on bigger engines. Now, the ultimate goal is, if you have a manual to your boat and or you've got the oil cap, it's going to recommend exactly what weight oil you should use there. However, I have found the 25W40 to run great in all the years that I've run V8s, 6s, and 4s, and I've never had an issue. The biggest thing with oil is making sure that you have enough in there and that you're changing the oil and the filter on an annual basis so you don't get an accumulation of degraded oil, as well as making sure there's no water in your oil. That causes huge degradation to the performance of how your engine is running, and usually indicates that you have some kind of a leak in your system where water is getting in, typically from coolant. Now, this is the Quicksilver 4-stroke synthetic blend. I tend to think a synthetic blend is a little bit more forgiving than conventional oil in terms of lubrication, as well as it has some additional detergents in there to help keep the engine clean. And this Quicksilver is actually a MerCruiser or Mercury brand engine. So when you get a Mercury engine, this is typically what it is filled up with. This is the OEM specification for using Mercury or MerCruiser engine oil for inboard engines. So I hope you enjoyed this video on what engine oil to use for your Mercury or MerCruiser engine in your boat. This holds true for the 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, and 8-cylinder. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this advice or want to support us, you can get this t-shirt down below in the links, or you can support us if you look in the description for any of the other classes or things that we offer to help you be a better boater or enjoy the outdoors more. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.